Donald Trump has stepped into the child sex abuse case against billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. The president has defended his Secretary of Labor, Alexander Acosta, against calls from the Democrats for him to resign over his time as a state prosecutor.
He's been a really great Secretary of Labor. The rest of it we'll have to look at. We'll have to look at it very carefully. But you're talking about a long time ago. And again, it was a decision made, I think, not by him, but by a lot of people. So we're going to look at it very carefully.
Jeffrey Epstein, a registered sex offender, is accused of trafficking and luring dozens of underage girls to his mansion. If found guilty, he could face up to 45 years in prison. Now the Democratic leadership is putting pressure on Trump and his team over the potential obstruction of justice.
Secretary Acosta must step down. As U.S. attorney, he engaged in an unconscionable agreement with Jeffrey Epstein, kept secret from courageous young victims, preventing them from seeking justice. This was known by the President of the U.S. when he appointed him to the cabinet.
I am calling on Secretary Acosta to resign. Instead of prosecuting a predator and serial sex trafficker of children, Acosta chose to let him off easy.
Jeffrey Epstein, a billionaire caught trafficking underage girls between 2002 and 2005, has been arrested yet again, this time after horrendous new evidence came to light.
Beginning in at least 2002 and continuing until 2005, Epstein is alleged to have abused dozens of victims.
Epstein is well connected, and he's evaded these charges for years, thanks to a deal he made with Acosta when he was the U.S. attorney in Miami. Instead of being charged with sex trafficking and child rape, he only pled guilty to a lesser charge of soliciting prostitution from a minor. While serving his time, Epstein had up to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week as work release at his downtown office. He served only 13 months before then being released on probation. During his probation, Epstein took numerous trips to both the Virgin Islands and New York City in his private jet. And the new evidence has forced Acosta to now come forward and defend his decision to give such special treatment to a sexual predator.
With the evidence available more than a decade ago, federal prosecutors insisted that Epstein go to jail, register as a sex offender, and put the world on notice that he was a sexual predator. Now that new evidence and additional testimony is available, the New York prosecution offers an important opportunity to more fully bring him to justice.
So, Democrats just heard about this sweetheart deal and are filled with outrage. Well, actually, no. They've known about it for quite some time. This is Acosta's confirmation hearing back in 2017.
The lawsuit questions why Trump's nominee for Labor Secretary, former Miami U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta, cut a non-prosecution deal with Epstein a decade ago rather than pursuing a federal indictment.
In fact, the nature of Acosta's punishment, if you can really call it that, was never secret.
The Department of Justice has defended the actions of the office in that matter under both President Bush and President Obama's administrations.
So, why the sudden outrage? Well, according to Chuck Schumer, timing is everything.
The president needs to answer for his statements he has made about his relationship with Mr. Epstein, particularly since President Trump appointed Mr. Acosta to such a powerful position.
See, the issue is that a Trump administration official is now caught up in the outrage around Jeffrey Epstein. And Trump indeed does have some skeletons in his closet when it comes to the Epstein case. Epstein visited Mar-a-Lago. However, according to the attorney who represents one of Epstein's victims, Trump threw him out after he started making passes at underage girls on the property. Furthermore, Trump seems to be the only prominent individual actually cooperating with the investigation into Epstein's crimes.
Trump is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what we need to know," and was very helpful.
So, that does not put Trump in the clear. He certainly was familiar with the sexual predator. However, so was Bill Clinton. The former president actually took 27 different flights on Jeffrey Epstein's private airplanes, some of them without being accompanied by Secret Service. And there are rumors circulating that there were underage girls on the plane.
Clinton had his Secret Service with him, and many times he did not. Almost every time that Clinton's name is on the pilot logs, there are underage girls. There are initials, and there are names of many, many girls on that private plane.
But Clinton is just background noise, right? Now Epstein fits in with the anti-Trump chorus from mainstream media.
The federal sex trafficking case against Donald Trump's old friend Jeffrey Epstein.
Ties to both the president and notably his labor secretary, Alex Acosta.
The man who cut that deal with him, that was his job then, is now the labor secretary. He's got supporters that are part of this administration.
So perhaps the victims in this case should be happy that Donald Trump was elected. After all, until Trump's name was brought in and attached to the case, there seemed to be far less interest and outrage about Epstein's atrocious crimes from certain voices. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.